Update on U.S. commercial and industrial fan efficiency regulations. I'm Scott Arnold, Senior Manager of Publications and Standards for Air Movement and Control Association International. On behalf of our more than 400 members worldwide, I want to thank you for joining us. We realize there's a lot to see and do at the AHR Expo. We respect and value your time and hope you find this educational session worth your while. The information contained in this session is provided by AMCA as an educational service. In making this educational activity available, AMCA is not endorsing, sponsoring, or recommending a particular company, product, or application. This session is protected by U.S. and international copyright laws. Reproduction, distribution, display, and use of the material without written permission from AMCA International is prohibited. And with all that out of the way, let's meet our presenter. As Global Technical Director for AMCA International, Nazmi Mosina is responsible for driving integrity, consistency, and quality in the establishment and application of product testing and certification requirements. Additionally, she provides leadership to achieve technical objectives and operational goals and serves as an arbitrator in technical appeals related to standards and functions. She has a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronic engineering from Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology and a master's degree in electrical engineering from the University of Dayton. In 2020, she was named to Engineered Systems Magazine's 20 to Watch Women in HVAC list. Nazmi?
Thank you all for joining. Can you guys hear me? I don't know where Scott got all those good things about me. I'm nothing like what he mentioned, so don't expect, keep your expectation level low, so you're gonna be happy with this presentation. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about US regulation. Large diameter ceiling fan, air circulating fan, general fan, and blowers. So all the fans are gonna be divided in three, and then we're gonna talk about the regulations, all this. US DOE regulation, and also what's happening with California Energy Commission. So first, let's look at large diameter ceiling fan. It's not the fan you have it at home, right? So the fan which is over 7 feet, and it's not 84.5 inch. So that's the large diameter ceiling fan. It's, you may see somewhere at the convention center or maybe go at the resort or somewhere, the thrust down, and then that's a large diameter ceiling fan. And DOE published their test procedure is codified. That means it's all in the book. The standard is not different than AMCA 230 standard. If you guys need a copy of AMCA 230, feel free to reach out to us later after the seminar. We're going to provide to you. So as I mentioned, it's nearly identical, but it's not identical. What I mean by that? For example, for DOE standard, they ask for certain voltage, certain particular information. For AMCA 230, you can do any voltage. So if you test according to 230, that's going to be qualified for US DOE code CFR. And then another part is energy standard. As you all know, that we had NOPAR came out. It was published for some time. It was an OMB from May 2024. And something happened, and then everything got withdrawn right after new president took over. So that's been withdrawn in January 2022. A little bit about what was in the NOPAR. CFAI is the metrics for regulation for the large diameter ceiling fan. In the code, in the standard, for 100% speed, the full speed, CFAI number was 1.4. So that is actually a little bit higher. So AMCA did some analysis with AMCA members data, and definitely 1.4 was a little bit higher. So right now we have 1.0, and then for 40% speed is 1.31. So, and we don't know what's future gonna hold. So as I mentioned before, efficiency and certification requirement remain unchanged because NOPAR was been withdrawn. And then CFAI for full speed is 1.00, and CFAI for 40% is 1.31. And then what you do, if you sell your large diameter ceiling fan USA, it shall be entered in the CCMS database, the DOE database. You have to be entered, and the link is there. And I believe you guys gonna get the slide, and you can get it from there. and the enforcement part, right? So if you do not publish and you sell your product in USA, look at the bill, how much they did. I believe last 6 months or so, 3 million of 18 companies have to pay that amount. Information is quite big. Energy standard violation may be in process, and then though the test procedure is finalized and standard is not like it is withdrawn, nothing is changing with the ceiling fan manufacturer, because they still have to go through the database update there. So when federal regulation is on hold or withdrawn, then what happened? We have a model code. So what is it? ASHRAE 90.1. They and IECC, they can adopt anything, right? Because there's no preemption, there's no federal rule. So they are having their own rules. And then AMCA is working with ASHRAE and IECC to speak on behalf of AMCA members. So what's AMCA recommendation is? AMCA certified. That's very close to my heart. AMCA certified. And then if you are a design engineer, make sure you ask for AMCA certified product. Then we talk about the air circulating fan. So these are the fan you guys may see in the barn. So those are the fan. This is also according to AMCA 230 test standard. So DOE test standard 10 CFR 431 is not different than AMCA standard on this. So test procedure is mandatory from October 2023. There are some manufacturers, they requested and DOE gave them 6 months or so time. So anyway, the test procedure is in the book. So it's from 2024, the test procedure in the book. You have to require 2 sample testing. For that, those are the numbers, it's not embedded in AMCA 230. So AMCA 230 is the how to do the test for fans. So, and then there is no certification requirement because DOE withdraw. By the way, this falls under, for DOE requirement, this falls under fans and blowers, air circulating fan section. So as I mentioned, that there was a NOPR, and they had unreasonably demanding CFM per watt, like a higher values, okay? And AMCA did some kind of analysis with the product in the market, and AMCA doesn't have a certified product at that time, but did that work, it doesn't make quite sense. Because the way they did the analysis with the fan manufacturers maybe does not represent the whole market. So final rule submitted to OMB in August, and it's been withdrawn few days before something happened. So final rule was never been public, because final rule that was been withdrawn, so it's not been public, and we don't know what's future holds. Okay, so that's give every state have their own rule. For example, Florida can pick anything, any number, right? And then Washington State can pick any number. California already did. So we have to watch more. Like if it's a federal rule, that's the land of the law. So just follow that one thing, and now it goes to every state. So I'll go back one more time. Test procedure is Appendix B, Subpart 431G. Just Google it, you get it, and I believe the link is also somewhere at the resource. Okay, and then potential energy saving is CEC Title 24. That's give you the standard for energy standard, and then ASHRAE 90.1, as I mentioned, AMCA and AMCA members are working with ASHRAE to put it what is the best for the industry. And IECC, same thing, AMCA is also working with them. And then, as I mentioned, the state can pick anything they want, or state product regulation can do anything they want. Okay, so do you have any questions so far? Or we can ask at the end. So let's talk about model and state energy code. Look at this. So how many of you are not aware of FEG? So, oh good. Don't need to know. No, I'm just kidding. So, so fan energy efficiency grade, that was a matrix back then, and that was based off fan total pressure. So AMCA developed it. Which year, Mark? Mark, I forgot. I mean, a long time ago, like before, yeah. So the standard is AMCA 205, and then AMCA developed it and looked into it. It based on total pressure, so it's just not. It's not a practically good metrics for energy saving. Then AMCA developed a standard called fan energy index. That's all you need to remember. Okay, forget about 205 and fan energy index. That is, and I have a justification for that. Look at. So ASHRAE 90.1 adopt FEG 2013, and then they have it till 2016. And then ASHRAE 189.1, they have it 14 and 17. As you can see, FEG is kind of like phasing out. And then FEI, the new matrix, is coming into play. So AMCA 208 is the fan energy index. And are you guys aware of fan energy index? FEI. So what does it do? It's an application-dependent matrix. So it talks about how much energy you're going to save at duty point, at each duty point. So what is it? It can literally do apple-to-apple comparison. So you have two fans, same duty point. You can say this fan have 1.31 FEI, other one is 1.2. So higher the number is better. Okay, so it actually consider, and if how the fan is been tested, like total pressure, static pressure, it covers all this to come up with a FEI. So FEI is a matrix for all fan and blower, and we'll go into more detail. So ASHRAE 90.1, 2019, FEI adopted it, and 22, and then 189. And I saw Christian Tabor on the audience. He was a big like pushing AMCA, working with AMCA and then energy advocate to make a lot of work was gone beyond this. Okay, so the next is, as I mentioned, though FEG is pretty old metrics, and look at this, we still have 18 state FEG provision. What's up with this? 2008 we have FEI and still have it, so we have more work to do. So that means, what does it tell? Whenever something goes in the book, it takes time to take it out, okay? So I don't know who lives where. I'm good because I'm from Illinois and mine is blue. So, I mean, it's not, no political view. It's the blue is the FEI, orange is FEG, and then green is neither FEI or FEG. So 18 states had FEG provisions, and I think 15 of them are kind of like in the border. They're going to eventually come to FEI. And then you can see the progressive state has got either FEI or is moving to FEI, okay? So how many of you live in green and orange state? Would you please raise your hand? Okay, so you know what you have to do, right? So next time you come here, make sure it's blue, then don't come here. Oh, I'm just kidding, that's it, just typical, like, anyway. That means you guys have to talk with code official and then make this happen, and then let us know, AMCA, how we can be helpful, okay? So won't it be really nice how all blue? So the model energy grid, again, current FEI provision is 90.1, 2022, and change from 22. There's this very minor change, right, Christian? It's just like only the one of the reference has been changed, just typically nothing is there. And then IECC is also following ASHRAE 90.1. That's what IEC is doing right now. And then actually AMCA is taking a lead to work with the IEC. What could be the next step? What could it be since DOE has withdrawn their regulations for fans? So if you have provisions in IGCC and ASHRAE 189.1 are unchanged. So, okay, so what is future hold, right? So one thing we can do is go to every state and talk with their code official, ask them, this is the metric. So what is it right now? What is the last DOE published document? Is the NOPR. The number, FEI number in that document is way higher. AMCA did analysis, and it does not, even AMCA product are well known, the cream of the crop, And then, is anybody here not EMCA member? Okay, good. So even then, it does not, it does not represent the market, right? We understand that certain portion, 30% or 20% of the market will be going away, but even then, it does not represent the market. So EMCA is working on, EMCA put a comment on the fan NOPR and give some kind of FEI number, what it should be depending on different fan category. EMCA put it there, and EMCA stand to let other state code official, can you adopt that? So that's something EMCA is thinking. And then maybe that's gonna be the way to go. Anyway, so air circulating fan, 125 watt, and then is there nothing changed other than using the test standard. Okay. So let's talk about California. Is anybody here from California or sell their fan in California? I bet sell their fan in California, good. So California Title 20 is in effect from last year, April 29. No change since the last update, nothing changed. So there is a MAPS database, and then Michael, our senior director advocacy, he did quick review and then find out 31 manufacturer over 124,000 fan models are in the database. Definitely other fan manufacturers are eventually gonna be there. So again, if you do not put your fan in that database, you cannot sell fan in California, okay? So, and then California, Title 20, it refers EMCA 214. It's all numbers. 214 actually give you how to calculate FEI. 208 is also give you calculation. 214 is actually developed for regulator. So now let's talk about US. So we talk about fan, ceiling fan, air circulating fan, and what happened in California. So now let's look at overall US DOE fan regulation for general fans. That includes PRV, plenum fan, axial fan, all different. So regulation is a process, okay? It doesn't just drop from anywhere, right? You have to go through the process. So what do we first, they fall, regardless of any kind of regulation, DOE has this process. Doesn't it look so simple? But not really. It's so complicated. No, I'm just kidding. So, so DOE start with test procedure. Before test procedure, they do some RFI, request for information, PTSD, asking manufacturer how technical question, kind of like that. Then they come up with a test procedure. If any EMCA staff, EMCA members, they are really familiar with, it's like our 210, like how to test fan, or 230, how to do a ceiling fan. But they call 10 CFR 431. So that is our test procedure, and it is in effect. So any fan you sell in this country, you have to test according to the standard, okay? Ceiling fan 230 or 10 CFR 431, that's very close to 230. For regular fan and blowers, is 210. So that's test procedure. Then they tell you what is the energy standard, okay? That was final rule has been withdrawn, right? So that actually give you the limit and all this, right? And energy standard, there's also 10 CFR 430. That includes enforcement, that if you don't do it, what happened, blah, blah, blah. And then the labeling program, that means you have to put some sticker and have to label it. That's optional. You don't have to do it. But the rest of the stages are mandatory, right? If you do this, like if right now we don't have anything, right now compliance standard, but if it is, then you have to follow the rules, okay? Then the certification for EMCA, who are EMCA members, is like 211. So it's your 10 CFR 429. And then the enforcement part is like, if you do not follow, now you have to pay the bill. That's, okay? So test procedure, energy standard, labeling, compliance, and then enforcement. So let's talk about test procedure. It was effected October 29, 2022. We are talking about general fan and blower. So any fan sold in USA have to follow 10 CFR 431. And it has been adopted in California Title 20, and it is in the, as I mentioned, EMCA is also working with IEC and ASHRAE working with the code to catch up. So that's test procedure. So whenever you hear test procedure, what is it cover? It covers the scope, okay? For example, for the ceiling fan, right? I mentioned about the large diameter ceiling fan have to be 84.1 inch and above, something, and then air circulating fan have to be greater than 125. That defines your scope. And also, like for example, induced flow fan, right? Certain fan is not part of DOE regulation, or safety fan not part of Title 20. So those are the things what that test procedure tell you what is in the scope and what is not. And method of test, how are you going to test it? Are you using 210 or isofiltrator? No. So it's going to be AMCA 210. And then also that you can also use calculation method or AEDM. This is going to be in test procedure. And what it does not cover is what is the minimum values of the requirement. That covers under compliance or certification. So that doesn't cover there. And as I mentioned before, the last step, labeling, certification, enforcement, those are not covered under the test procedure. Test procedure is in the book. You have to, shall be, right? In AMCA language, we call shall be followed, okay? So, energy standard, we've been talking about it. Notice for proposed rulemaking published January 19, 2024. I believe that was during, we have ASHRAE meeting, right? And around that time, they published it. They know we are all going to be here together, so let's discuss here. So we had that time, and it had an energy efficiency enforcement provision for the fan, general fan and blowers, and then air circulating fans. And it also included the enforcement provision. So it's the same thing. NOPR includes what is going to be the standard, the limit, and if you don't follow the rule, what is going to cost you. So the comment due was March 19. Some manufacturers, I believe AMCA also, they asked for the date, had more time. Do you think DOE is going to listen to us? No. So they did not even, extension request was not being accepted, so denied. Then AMCA, what did AMCA and AMCA members did? And then some other manufacturer, they did on their own. So what they did, they give another values. So DOE come up with a FEI values, now certain number. So AMCA did their work, look into what is the basis of FEI calculation in DOE, then come up with a better proposal, which more tell you the real story, or what is the reasonable number for FEI. So that's AMCA commented. There's a link at the resource, you can read it, okay? And after that, there's going to be a quiz. If you don't pass the quiz, you're not going to get PDH. This is literally a joke. Okay, so what did AMCA do then? Okay, so I mentioned that. And AMCA believe his comments are useful for state regulation. So as I mentioned, in AMCA, okay, since there's no federal regulation, no preemption issue, because there's no rules, California is doing stuff like equal or greater than 1. So AMCA is thinking of going to different state. Washington state is actually thinking of adopting NOPR, which was published, not finalized, not final rule, published. Maybe accept that. So AMCA staff, AMCA means as an association is thinking and working with different state. Okay, so NOPR, start to finish. So started in August, finally completed DOE, sent to OMB, is the Office of Management and Budget, is set there. Remember, every time I say this, you know what it reminds me? It reminds me of, we asked for extension, they didn't give it. They want to be hurry, hurry, hurry. Now look at it, where we are, nothing. So August, final rule was in DOE, OMB, Office of Management and Budget, and then Office of Information Regulatory Affairs. Then something happened, November. Then something more happened, and then now we have nothing. So new president took office, and then we don't know what future holds, okay? So usually we put the regulation, test procedure, then NOPR, standard, energy standard, labeling, certification, enforcement, everything has certain time, everything comes in certain period. So we draw all 10 regulations, and then now it's focused on energy production. So let's see what happened then. Okay, so we're talking about fan and blower. So California is enforceable, is in the book. And then so some of the fan is excluded by the California Title 20, but covered by DOE, right? So those must still proceed, like test standard is in the book. So you have to, like shall be followed. So if it's not even California, but you have to use the DOE, what the DOE is saying. And then no minimum FEI right now. So usually every 5 years, the rules get renewed. So maybe in 5 years or 10 years, I hope I'll be retired by then, I don't know. So I don't have to worry about it, no. And then, but no minimum energy performance requirement for circulating fan right now. So 5 years, maybe 10 years, something gonna happen. Kathleen is still gonna be fighting this. We're gonna be enjoying it. Anyway, okay. So what is the possible can be? DOE cannot make unpublished final rule available to interest parties to the public because they withdraw, right? And then DOE initiate new rule making. So maybe DOE say, okay. So, I try to say a good thing about anything happen. So I think maybe it's good. Maybe before DOE was not listening to us, no matter what fan manufacturer or trade association is speaking. So now new people in the building, maybe they will listen. So maybe something good out of it. We don't know. And then maybe tell them, okay, what went wrong? Because if that NOPR get published, that will be a mystery, disaster. Is it fair to say disaster? I don't know. Fan manufacturer can I say disaster? If you have to, your fan 1.4 CFAI have to be regulated. Maybe you don't have to worry, but some other fan manufacturer have to worry. So it will be disaster, but maybe now they will listen to us, manufacturers and association. Okay, so future. So test procedure. Maybe, as I mentioned, that if you have to be renewed after a certain year because of EPCA, there's a rule. Every regulations have to be updated. So 2028, and then energy standard. I hope they do not open that NOPR. I hope they will look into all the fan manufacturers or associations notes and then see what happened, what's there. So maybe they will restart something again 29 and then maybe finished. So we don't know. So and then the rest was not being published, so we don't know. So now is this is my most favorite thing in the world, AMCA certified rating program. So how many of you have heard AMCA certified rating program? So I believe everybody, or maybe not. If not, then only one thing you carry today is AMCA certified have to be in your project, if you're a project engineer. Okay, so what AMCA did, AMCA is a trade, not-for-profit trade association. So the manufacturers join AMCA, they test AMCA lab or their lab, somehow AMCA tests their product, okay? So it's a third party. It doesn't matter whether in the board or not, we treat everybody the same. So we test the product, develop the catalog, and we do verification test in every 3 years, the product is certified. So AMCA does not only certify the performance, it also certifies the selection software. So any product certified, you go to the selection software. If you cannot get to the link, contact AMCA staff. They will provide you the link to use the selection software, right? And you have the performance there, okay? And as you can see on the right is the air performance at FEI. The product can be air, sound FEI, or air and FEI, or anything. So AMCA is an open book. Every product certified is AMCA website. So it's very simple. Just go there. If you don't see it, just let us know. Maybe social media, you see some number. It doesn't make sense. Oh, CFI is this number. It doesn't make sense. Just contact AMCA. For example, CCMS database, they do not ask large diameter ceiling fan like airflow pressure power. They just ask you to do CFI. Then you see the number is really high. check with AMCA that whether this number is okay or not. Okay, so that is the AMCA. Whenever you see this AMCA seal by the product, that give you assurance that somebody is watching with this. Okay, and how to specify all type. That means all the different product areas: centrifugal, housed, unhoused, axial, radial. All type have a FEI rating greater than or equal to. California Title 20 is asking greater than 1. Some state may go higher, right? It's been an air performance, sound performance, or FEI. And then the AMCA certified rating program, AMCA based on the test, right, or maybe calculation method. So test can be AMCA 210 or ISO 50001 because AMCA standard and ISO standard are harmonized. And then the X is based on the code, right? So California saying 1, Washington State maybe saying 1.1, so minimum number can be different, okay? Then make sure when you do your project that you are asking for AMCA certified product. Tested does not mean certified, right? Your product can be tested at your lab, right? But whenever manufacturers, they go through the certification process, it actually go a little bit more into details. Some can be used fan loss for other speed or something else. So it holds, like, it's more than tested. So you can test your product anywhere. Just give you one speed or a couple speed. But whenever your product is like certified, is tell you way more complicated. You ask AMCA members how much it is, how much work they have to go through. Okay? So these are the online resources. Okay, so you can go on your own. Yeah. You have any question? Yes.
Did you say CC stickering is optional? What was about sticker? Did you say something about?
That was about DOE test procedure. So DOE test procedure labeling is optional. Mark, did I say that right? I have some experts sitting here. So, California is. Yeah. But DOE labeling is optional. Anywhere else? What do you think was going to happen? Nothing, right?
Has any states reached out to AMCA? What states have reached out to AMCA for DOE?
Yeah.
Support them in DOE?
Am I supposed to say that? Can I answer the question? Yeah, there are.
There's at least one.
Yeah, there is. And I mentioned the name somewhere. I have some board members sitting here and some AMCA chair sitting here. So that's why I'm just kidding. No. We're all good. Yeah. Hey, Nick. Yeah. So, any question? What surprised you guys the most? A whole regulation? In between, I was not working for AMCA, right? I was working, some of you know, I was working for one of the consultants who support California investor-owned utility. So that time is the regulations happening, right? I was under the impression it's going to go, like they know that this, whatever situation we are in is going to come, right? It's no surprise. How come they didn't finish it? It's so close. And they just withdraw everything. So, yeah. Maybe whatever happened for good, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Did AMCA supply California all the AMCA certified companies out there? Or was
Yeah.
California on their own?
California,
31 states, right? You get a lot more AMCA members.
Sure.
So did AMCA provide those companies to California who were
Yeah.
AMCA certified?
Yeah, so for example, our member is sitting here, right? Mark Bubles, he's from New York Blower. So they sell their product in California. So AMCA help them to how to do for example, for MAPES database, California database, there are certain way to fill the information. If they assist, AMCA support that. Is that your question, or AMCA just do the work?
My question was just, did AMCA send the list of certified companies to California, and if they're going to have a violation list or something similar to AMCA has,
No,
playing on the same field?
no, no.
No?
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
The regulators generate that said, here's at least the list of the people, the companies these applies to. And I think that happened in California, and it should happen too. So, AMCA did not happen. You already know.
Yeah, AMCA is listed as their third-party laboratory. So if you test your fan at AMCA lab, they will accept the data. Anyone? Christian, do you want to add anything for the ceiling fan, or did I miss something in the large diameter or air circulating fan? Okay.
Any regulation to the drive-inducing fan down the road?
Induced flow fan.
In the drive-inducing fan for the gas furnace? But they talk about some...
Safety fan, yeah, they took it out. Under safety fan, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he's asking whether safety fan is in the regulation. So safety
Well,
fan.
the drive-inducing fan for the furnace, normally this is not regulation.
Yeah.
yet. But even, do you kind of see and foresee any regulation down the road?
Do you think I'm that powerful? I'll know this. No. So the question is the drive-inducing fan
For the gas furnace,
gas furnace is going to be in the regulation in near future?
yeah. High efficiency.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a furnace.
It's normally just an adjust the valve in gas furnace. It's the condensing version, so allow you to adjust the adjustable. It's similar like they just control the compressor. It's very speed drive,
Okay.
something like that. We talk about the high efficiency. So far, it's only under the 85%.
Wow.
But today, in the future, we think about the down road something like 85% high efficient. It can be do something like that. Another question is the compressor. The compressor now is just on and off. We think about it's the pretty low in efficiency. I don't know. In the future, something regulation not that bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in general, if the fan is in the power scope,
Yeah.
and you are not specifically exempt, you're covered. There's no escape.
All right.
Okay.
So for California, are there any, I guess, there's a lot of instances where very immersive environments, that there's only certain fans that will work, and you can't get to a 1.0. Are there any, without necessarily going to a much bigger footprint, and in a lot of these situations, there might not be the availability. So I guess, are there any options out there to, try to
Yeah. So the thing is, what California is saying, at least one of the duty point have to meet 1.0. The fan you are describing does not meet not a single duty point.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, when you're in a immersive environment, I'm understanding throwing out wastewater, right?
Okay.
There's reasons that you have to have certain types of fans build up and such, and there aren't many options out there that will last in those environments.
Yeah.
As well. So I guess my question is, if you can't get to that duty point because the fan is just not efficient, and you may be replacing a fan on top of a structure that can't support anything bigger.
But yeah, please.
So the bad news is, the way California is written, you're to operate at a non-compliant point, your fan must qualify for one of the exemptions. One of the exemptions is called a safety fan. So I would encourage you to read the California regulation and the definition of a safety fan. And if your product qualifies for that exemption, you're exempt.
Yeah, but the one he's describing does not follow that.
The bad, unless you're operating at high temperatures.
Yeah. But those fans, I don't think so. Just reach out to CC and good luck whether you get answer. Anyone else? Thank you. I give back to 15 minutes, and then TC 5.1 meeting that also include fans is somewhere in Hilton. So if you guys want to join. Okay. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.